Now, as you know, and as I predicted, Albo is trying to find excuses to not talk about anything serious for as long as possible. And it's working for him when it comes to the polls. I'll get to that in a second or two. But in the real world, this is aggravating. This is an incredible double standard that when this bloke was the opposition leader, if you turned around and said, look, it's going to get worse before it gets better, I just want to have an honest conversation with people, are you going to do anything about it? Oh, no, no, no. That would become, this government's doing nothing about cost of inflation. Media would repeat and again and again and again, and it becomes top of the tree. Well, as I told you, and as we knew on day one with the ScoMo extra jobs thing, it wasn't illegal. The idea of not telling people, no one can defend that. But the idea that this was somehow a threat to democracy, like the lefty talking point is of course garbage. And on day one, there were legal experts who came out and said, who are not Liberal fans, this is not illegal. So there's a very simple solution here, which is if they want to avoid the whole secrecy thing, two-line piece of legislation. All ministerial appointments, when made by the Prime Minister and sworn in by the Governor-General, must be published. Right? Simple, right? 2 lines, and I put it even into 1. Put it through the Parliament, pass it tomorrow. But because we need to stretch this out to keep kicking the political corpse of the former Prime Minister, despite the fact that the Solicitor General has already done a report, has obviously concluded, presumably what every other legal expert has concluded, about the legality of the situation, Albo was given that advice today but won't announce what it is until tomorrow because it guarantees yet another day of this story, and it means a day when no one's talking about cost of living. No one's talking about, hey, mate, what are you going to do about people's wages, that their real wages have gone backwards, that inflation is going up. You're in a position to do something about petrol prices, but you won't do a damn thing. Again, Albo today talking about the bloke that he beat at the last election.
If no one knows who the minister is, then how can they be held to account for decisions which are made? That's why there's a need in a parliamentary democracy and in our Westminster system of cabinet government for cabinet to be aware, let alone the Australian people.
And the media plays along because they too don't want to talk about the real issues. It's too boring to go to the car park at Aldi. That's a junior reporter's job. Our job here in Canberra is to talk about the threats to the system and conventions, please. They were happy for all of those to be trashed when it came to the COVID-19 pandemic and the way the state government's response. I'll get to that in a second. This is all about trying to set up the pretext for some very big inquiry into Scott Morrison. My prediction, they'll find a way to have a Royal Commission. As a get square for the Royal Commission that took place, of course, that had Kevin Rudd appear before one when it came to the Pink Bats and Bill Shorten when it came to the union movement. That's the get square, get ready, that's what we're going for, and every single day we'll just eke this out while you have to buy meat in bulk. Good stuff, right? They're really in it for you, aren't they? But I said this stuff's working. The do-nothing approach of government seems to be what Australia wants. Because according to the Channel 9 papers, they put out a poll that the Labor Party's support has apparently gone up by 12% since the last election. 51% of the country say the Prime Minister is their preferred Prime Minister, which means apparently people love this. So help me out. 88% of Australians are concerned about the cost of living and inflation. Yet there's been a surge in support for the government who's doing nothing about it. That reflects the media. That reflects what is being spoken about all day, every day. The idea, and I get it, they wanted to change, but the idea that you get a honeymoon lap forever, we're closing in on the first 100 days. What are they going to turn around and say? Our biggest achievement in the first 100 days, despite being hired to fix cost of living, was we increased cost of living by power prices by going to 43%, emissions reduction and 80-something% when it comes to renewable energy. And the media, clap it on, because it's all a new broom, and the new broom talks to us when the old broom didn't talk to me, so therefore they must be punished.